on my fan fiction. Like, I don't give a fuck, bro. I go all in. I'll be taking advantage. All right, I'm joking. Anybody from my job, please don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Please
Hold
don't.
it. Hold it.
Please do not take me seriously. I'm joking. Time out. Time out is my livelihood.
Right.
Going past that. All right, yo. So we're all doing good. That's great. I love it. Yeah, we're back. Media Marauders back in effect. This is episode 225. Coming back with some more content. This is Max. You got your boy, Mr. Thomas. James.
Going on.
My boy, King.
Going on.
As you can see, for the ones that have come back and love to watch us religiously, we are missing a few of our other contestants or our hosts. But they had some things to take care of. One of them might be joining in soon, hopefully. But we have some new content. We have a new discussion today. And Mr. King, you were the one that came up with the idea for this discussion. So please give us a little bit of taste of what you want. What you came up with.
So, sir, once again, the name is King. So I'll let you all know that I was thinking about discussions, and I saw one through Twitter that actually asked individuals to explain the top 3 video games that gave you more perspective or changed your influence on games in general in the past without being visually, well, not say visually, but without trying to be popular or cool about it. So to start it off, I guess I'll start it off on my end. The top 3 games that changed my perspective as a kid or even currently, whatever your choice is, but it's supposed to be the past game. So my very first game I chose was actually Sonic and Knuckles from the Sega Genesis.
Yes.
I will say I wanted to combine it as a Sonic 3 and Knuckles and as separate games, but I'm gonna keep it just in general for Sonic and Knuckles. The reason I did choose this one because I just have a fond memory when I used to live in Germany. The game came out in I think 94, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. Yep, 94, 95 in that general area there. So I just remember being about 9, 10 years old, getting up, brushing my teeth, or maybe I was skipping brushing my teeth, and just popping open the game and just starting to play the game.
Nice.
So back then, these young punks wouldn't know this, but you couldn't save your spot. You couldn't save it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran up my parents' electricity bill and just paused it and kept on pause throughout the whole
those
game.
ass whippings too. Oh yeah.
So I just remember this game changed my view on it because of the fact that with only 3 buttons to mash and you had like 3 different moves to make, but you played as somebody else outside of Sonic and even outside of Tails. You had an Echidna who, in my personal opinion, was just Jamaican in red.
Oh.
So
some kind of Caribbean.
Right. So from there, but that gave me my first look at a African American or even a person of color within a game, because that's how I viewed Knuckles as. And so just knowing he had that cool flight/glide move he did within the games, I was like, oh, this is it. I'm in for good now. I'm not coming out this game. So when I got the game, and then also putting in consideration that they had the adapter to the Sega, which made things even cooler.
Shit.
Yeah, man, because you gotta remember that they had that adapter on there. So you hooked up to the Sega Genesis, you're like, boy, I'm about to play the hell out of this bad boy. Put in Part 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. Wow, it's set rest of the day, dog.
You were spoiled as fuck too. God damn.
Oh, man, bro.
Oh, man.
So I really liked the game though, because even at the beginning, I specifically remember at the beginning, the very first stage, Sonic comes in as Super Sonic or Gold Sonic, whichever one I prefer to call him, flying over the ocean. They're showing up and Knuckles just knocks him out of it. And I was like, that's it. It's a badass man right there. That is badass man right there, bro. But him working with Robotnik at the time and being persuaded to do his bidding and things of that nature. And I guess just even at the time, those graphics were pretty dope at that point in time in my life. So there wasn't nothing like we had right now as a PlayStation 4, but it was something that I could actually akin to and gravitate towards because you had a person of color, which, you know, don't get me wrong, Sonic was blue, but at the same time, you had another one, like I said, as a POC being red with dreads. So that's the first game I had that I thought was really dope. And my second one, I was fighting between these two, but I either had Yoshi's Story or Mega Man X, and I decided to go with Mega Man X. And so the reason I chose Mega Man X is because that's the first time I had gotten introduced to Mega Man, honestly. I'd not even played it before. One of my best friends, Greg, introduced me to it. And I think what really sold me on this one was just because of the fact that it wasn't even Mega Man. It was the side character, Zero. Him showing up out the blue in the very first stage and getting rid of Vile was another favorite character of mine, actually. But just him in general, he was just like that badass cool guy with the blonde hair. He was a red robot, and I think there might be a theme here with the color red, but like I said, the time right now, pretty dope though, right? So just playing the game through as Mega Man, first of all, and then finding out there was, I'm not sure if you know this, but Mega Man also had a secret move in that game too, Hadouken. I'm not sure if you knew that though.
Yeah, he has a Hadouken.
Max, did you know that?
X1.
Yeah, man. So you had to go through certain stages. And find different capsules. I think in a specific order. I'm not sure. I just know for certain you end up getting it at the Penguins level. And I remember just having that and shooting everybody with Hadoukens, and it was done.
It was the armadillo level.
My bad.
Level.
You're right.
Yeah.
It was armadillo level. My bad.
Yeah.
Yep. It was armadillo level because of the roller coaster joint. Not the one wheelbarrow. So I chose Mega Man next, like I said, because also opportunity to steal people's powers as well and use them in different sets also, especially with his super armor outside of his regular armor. So I really dig that aspect of the game. But like I said, Zero really sold it for me because he was so badass in it. And then Mega Man had that special move right there that not a lot of people knew about, but if you were a gamer like I was.
Get out of here.
We'll tap you.
And so my third game, I couldn't go without putting in the fighting game because I really did change my perspective on it, but playing Killer Instincts Gold for Nintendo 64.
Yes.
Yeah. So I chose that one because, like I said, I played the Nintendo version, but Fulgore was always my favorite character. And so when they put Fulgore into the new game, and then they showed not Turok, but what is his name now? Tusk. That's what his name is. I remember using Tusk all the way through and getting to his ending, and there were special endings too, depending on who you killed or did a fatality on, you got different endings. But learning how to utilize the buttons, but then having it's kind of like Mortal Kombat. We had just long ass button sequences to get a fucking finishing move done. And when I mastered Tusk, I was like, that's it, guys. I'm professional. I can do this. I can be a gamer now.
Look, you used to steal the strategy guys as a kid, didn't you? So you could figure out
the
inputs,
I didn't steal him. I just read him out the page and be like, oh, time to go home. I didn't even steal it, dog. I was told it's not called stealing. It's called acquiring. That's what it's called.
Acquiring. Okay.
I'm not a thief.
Columbusing.
Yeah, exactly.
This thing,
there
wow,
he is.
Point that one. Columbus.
No, you got about 10 points for that one, sir.
Yeah, you did. So,
Man.
like I said, for me, so my top three games that changed my perspective on video games once again was Sonic and Knuckles, just because of the fact that you had a POC in Knuckles, but he could also glide, and then Mega Man X because you had Zero, who was just a badass with a sword, and Mega Man had the Hadouken. But then the Killer Instinct Gold got me into the actual fighting games per se, using Fulgore and Saberwolf and also Glacius.
Glacius?
Yeah, man, and Glacius.
Can't forget Kato, though. Can't forget Kato.
All right.
That's another discussion. But and then, like I said, I used Tusk for the most part, just because of the fact he had that badass sword. And I remember his finishing move being meteorites coming from the Earth and coming from outer space. Dog, that was
I can't.
So awesome. I remember.
My only time that I played Killer Instinct, I can remember that I thought I was a badass because my dad took me to one of the barracks on base. And he said, yo, my son plays video games. You can play y'all. And I went in there and I thought I was a badass because I was beating dudes that were like 20-something years old. But all I was doing was button mashing. I never played the game in my life. So I'm thinking, I'm nice. So I played Killer Instinct with one of my friends and they whooped my ass. I'm like, yo, fuck this game.
They're letting you win. That's what
I think. I think that was that too. They probably would let my ass win, motherfuckers.
Yeah, your dad must have been up there, huh?
Yeah, right.
You let my son win. But yeah,
I'm glad you brought up Sonic and Knuckles because I was never really, as a kid, I was really never into fighting games like that. But I like to play them, like even to this day. Mm-hmm. So Sonic and Knuckles, like you said, you couldn't save shit. My first game was Sonic 2. So
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So I never beat any Sonic games. So fuck y'all, I don't care. Never beat any Sonic games.
Me neither.
None.
Me neither. Stop it. Me
Never.
neither.
Oh, God.
Because you couldn't save shit.
Y'all never got to the spaceship. Y'all never got to the
Exactly.
spaceship.
Bro,
God,
my coordination was horrible with that game. I used to get frustrated, but I liked Sonic as an iconic mascot for Sega. You know what I mean? As a character.
Put out a judging sign just to pull it up.
Bro.
Hey, man, I'm in the same boat though. I couldn't save. Like that was it. Like that's.
I'm not doing this. I always got to the casino part in Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yo,
Never
casino.
The casino part.
So close. Look at that. Shame. For
and
shame.
And the part where you keep fucking
Shame.
drowning. The drowning
For
part too.
shame.
You gotta get
God
supersonic. You gotta get supersonic. You be good.
God.
All right. First of all, never got to be supersonic either in any of the
What?
games.
So you just kept getting hit everywhere, huh? God, I mean,
Until Sonic Adventures 2, that's when I was the shit. And
When they held your hand? When they held your hand? Okay.
Yeah.
And you like Dark Souls and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Come on.
Bro,
Horrible,
no,
man. It's horrible.
Sonic and Knuckles was one of those games, man. And like you said, like the pioneering, like the mechanics of the gliding portion. Knuckles top down was the best character in that game. Next
Agreed.
to not just next to Sonic, Knuckles took over that whole shit for me.
Same here. Yep.
But yeah, good choice, man.
Thank you,
Got
sir.
anything else? Any honorable mentions?
Like I said, the honorable mention is actually going to be Yoshi's story. I think my honorable mention for that reason, just for the reason because Yoshi was just so characteristic. Sorry, he was just so lively. But the background story of it, just imagining that Koopa already had Mario and Luigi in his sights when they were so young. You're just like, you still didn't beat him, man. But I liked it because of the fact that Yoshi was able to, I guess he was a babysitter, but at the same time, him being able to eat his enemies and then also being able to utilize, I think I'm not mistaken, different colored, I think depending on what the color was that he ate of the enemy, he gained different characteristics. So I can't remember the specific color, but one of them, if he swallowed one, he could spit out seeds at you. And then if baby Mario had gotten a star, he was technically invincible too, but he was still able to pop up off you. But like I said, that was my honorable mention for that, just because of the fact that Mario was not necessarily the hero, but he was also I guess a part 2 of Super Mario World. Yeah.
Seems we have lost a person.
Technical difficulties, eh?
Yeah. This is interesting.
But it's still recording.
I don't know what to do here. I guess we'll.
You might as well go ahead and go, Chris. See how it works out.
Well, let's just keep it moving.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Random.
All right. Well, it's a hard one for me to single down to 3, with there only like me having so many. Depends on the generation of system where the games come from. So I'm gonna pull across 3 of the older ones, starting with the Nintendo, which my favorite game coming up from then was. I want to say the game I probably spent the most hours in as a kid was River City Ransom, which is known as the Kunio-kun series in Japan.
Huh. Okay.
It was like the original open world beat 'em up game, pretty much. Like you're 2 high school kids, Ryan and Alex, in the American version, and you go from like your girlfriend gets kidnapped. Oh no, Ryan's girlfriend gets kidnapped. And you got to go back and save her from a dude named Slick. That's the premise of the game. And you start from one high school and go from beating up people all the way through town, like unlocking special moves, eating food, like building up your stats as you're just like, when you eat food, you build up your stats. All of this in an old school NES game. And then by the time you get to... And they also have like secret bosses that if you go like back to a place you already been to in the game, if you walk back to like certain parks at a certain time after you beat a certain boss, now secret bosses there that you don't ever really have to fight. It was a solid game. Like it's one of those series I wish they would bring back because it's still my favorite series. That's why I went and bought the whole collection when they released that on PlayStation 4. Old school games, still fun if you have like a nostalgia to them. And that was my number 1 for the Nintendo. Then
What was that name again?
River City Ransom.
River City Ransom. Okay.
In Japan, it was called Downtown Neketsu something brawl. It was one of them long Japanese names, but it was America. It was America. But,
America.
And then welcome back to Super Rare.
Yes.
We're back.
Yes.
But
some kind of construction out here, bro. They just or something's happening right now. I apologize. Go ahead.
But then my next one is it was another one that I wish they would bring back. Armor Core. Just Armor Core. Doesn't matter which one in the series, but I'm going to go with the original one because I remember the first time I played the original one on a demo disc on the PlayStation, I was in love with that game. It was like you get to build your own mech. You get to you have limits to your engine and all that, but you have like so many different customizations that you can do, like combinations. And that was like one of the first games. Like a lot of people talk about Sekiro, Dark Souls, and all that. From Software has been making horror games since Jump. Like I remember the first time I played that one, I failed all the way to the last level, and then I couldn't win anything because I was like negative $3 million in debt in that game or something like that. So I couldn't buy any new parts. But the gameplay was so fun. I was like, all right, older I got, the more I understood about like, well, you got to offset weight, or if you're going into a long mission, you got to make sure you have a whole bunch of guns that can actually have a lot of ammo in them. And like, all right, well, I'm going to go up against someone that's fast, so aiming manually is going to be hard, so I need to have like missiles to lock on and do damage that way. The strategies were endless, like to figure out how to like pass levels. That was a good one too for me. And then to top it off, though, my favorite, which got me into a whole genre of games I love, Final Fantasy Tactics. I love all the Final Fantasies, started from 1 up, but Final Fantasy Tactics was my favorite. Like the idea of a game that seems like you're doing an RPG where you make create your different party members, and you got your story party members. In-depth story with it, but then the gameplay was like playing a match of chess. So it's like you go into the match, you're going up against, you have your, I want to say 8 party members that are on the screen. They have their 8 party members, and you got to figure out how to defeat them with just that group of people, no matter, and having whatever stats and special moves you had. That game alone was revolutionary for its time, unless you count Tactics Ogre, but we're not. So we're just going to go with Final Fantasy Tactics.
I've heard Tactics being like highly regarded. I've never played it. I think it was on PSP at one point.
Yeah, it's if you like the strategy thinking like it's pure strategy, like
it's on the original PlayStation, right?
Yeah, on the original PlayStation, it was like you started the match. I want to say it was in one of those demo discs, Square demo disc, but it was like I'm trying to think how to put it up. Like you moved your character from like square to square, so it was like instead of like walking around dungeons, every map was just a battlefield. So you have your characters, your army of people that you're using, your mercenaries. So you have like the samurais, ninjas, geomancers, summoners, all that. Yeah. It was an in-depth game, like, and it hit pretty well. That was one of those games that got me really big on the strategy train.
Yeah. Like King said, that it originally came out back on the PlayStation, and then they remade it, or like they brought it back to the PSP or like handhelds. But yeah, people hold that one up. Like I see whenever Final Fantasy discussions come up, like on certain forums that I'll be on, like people put that above like 7, and or like other well-known 10 and not 13, but those, it stays within that spectrum of top 10 Final Fantasy games ever made. So like when you described it as like a chess, like I sort of like see it as a chess pieces. So I kind of thought of Valkyrie Chronicles as well when you said that.
So it was like Valkyrie Chronicles, Disgaea, and all of them. Like I feel like, Tactics Ogre came before it, so that would be the one that laid the groundwork. But Final Fantasy Tactics laid big groundwork for a lot of those games, like Disgaea, being able to create all your different characters, and that would go back to Tactics Ogre, but that story is like, it's just a phenomenal story. And Cloud's a secret character in it. You can unlock him. So
in tactics.
yeah.
Nice.
So like, so story wise, this is like its own story. Like,
Yes, takes place
so
in
there's a
Evilise.
whole.
It
Okay,
takes,
so there's a whole beginning to end to it all. This is not like strategies with friends that come in networking or some whatever.
no, it's like the story is about you play as Ramanza. He's a boy who comes from a noble family, but he's like the runt of the family because he had like two older brothers who are like the lions
Of course.
of his family, and they end up joining like rival sides, and some stuff happens that gets Romanza kicked out of the family. So he's pretty much like goes worse as a mercenary and starts living his life. His best friend, who used to roll with him, ends up seeing his sister get killed, which leads to him going on a whole thing of becoming like trying to become king and like change the whole world around. Like his best friend becomes mad corrupt after seeing his
Oh, I love it.
his sister get killed. His other boy killed his best friend's sister, so he like she was because they were poor, so they were like, yo, they're not royalty, so they don't matter. It's a in-depth story, very in-depth story.
I
Game of
thought
Thrones
straight
type shit.
tactics.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. Then like
I missed the first one. On some. What was your first game that you mentioned?
Oh, River City Ransom on the NES.
Oh, the side scroller.
Well, I want to say it's the original open world beat 'em up
Side
game.
scroller.
I belittled.
I just
That's
I
right.
like that judgment. Oh, the side scroller.
The fuck you just call it?
Yeah, exactly. Taking complete offense to it.
Yep.
Jeez.
And if I had an honorable mention, I would have to say Front Mission, which that is I'm a big Square fan, so I've been playing Square games since Jump. But Front Mission was you take Final Fantasy Tactics, Armored Core, and mash them into a game together. Like it was the first game I think that I had like 150 hours of gameplay that I ever played. And
wow.
So it's like Gundam.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, there was some Gundam stuff in there, like Gundam type weapon. It actually, because the story was like Gundam. It was interesting because that story was told between like your character's emails, cutscenes. It was Front Mission 3 was a experience in itself. Like that one game I was saying about, Left Alive. Only reason I bought it is because I love Front Mission 3 that much.
Okay.
But Left Alive is, which one is that one again? Because I think I'm getting it confused for that zombie game.
Nah, Left Alive is the
Left
game.
4 Dead. That's Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, that's Left 4 Dead. Left Alive is it takes place in the Front Mission universe, and you're playing as 3 different people stranded in the middle of a war that just broke out.
Okay.
Gameplay's not great, but
Good deal, Mr. Random. That was good, man. I like that list. I had heard a lot of them, but that was a great list, man.
What with
I heard
Armored
it
Core?
all.
When y'all brought up Gundam, y'all just brought up Gundam, so that made me think of Armored Core being. Is that like Gundam or Anthem?
Yes.
Like you have a bodysuit,
no, you were just in a robot,
Mech.
giant mech the whole time.
big ass mech.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember when I was looking at. Remember they had all the gamer magazines. Yo, Armored Core and those gamer magazines like hyped me up so much. Like I wanted to play that game so bad, but like I only played the demo and I never fully got into it because I was playing other games. So.
All right.
I was never into mechs like that, so I can't even. I can never get into mechs like that, dude. I'm sorry. I just never got into it.
Missing out.
I know.
I guess, man.
It's like I have like Zen Slab right there in front of me from Front Mission.
The only mech that I was into was Evangelion, and I watched a little bit of that Darling in the Franxx anime, and that's about it. But
You didn't watch Robotech?
nah, man, I didn't watch any of that. I'm sorry, I was never a
Golly. You're whippersnappers, I tell you.
Yeah, right.
Just disgusting.
What about was it Pat Labor was kind of like had like a lot of robots in there too, though, right?
Yeah, Pat Labor would be the perfect equivalent for Front Mission. The way the robots are like, designed in it.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. Well, Mr.
All right.
Thomas, if you don't mind, James, you mind if I can hop in?
Yeah, no, I was definitely going to let you go.
All right. Cool. So seeing from you guys this archives, y'all really going back. Like there's some of y'all going back. Um, I played games since I was a kid, but I didn't really feel an impact in games until I got a little older. So the first game I want to mention, and I've been struggling with this one, was Persona 4 Golden. Y'all know that I'm a bit of a Persona freak when it comes to. I've only played Persona 4 Golden, and I've beaten Persona 5. I'm on Persona 5 Royal right now, the remake, or the re-release with like 40% more content. And Persona 4 Golden was my first introduction into the whole Shin Megami Tensei spin-off from what it was originally. And that's a whole other like franchise of games that I'm not going to even try to get into. But Persona 4 Golden is a sim game / Pokemon simulator game. So in a sense where you're a blank canvas of a high school main character, which in the game his name is Yu Narakami, and you're coming in from from Tokyo or some big city into this small countryside part of Japan, and you're figuring out you're in a murder mystery type of thing. And you're the main character. You meet these people. You meet your main your party, and you guys are traversing around this small city of Inaba. That's what the city's name is. And you're figuring out who are killing all these people and why. When I mentioned a simulator, this game literally your second year, which is a 10th grader in American standards in Japan, and you're making friends. You're getting jobs, you're doing favors for people, and then it turns into a JRPG where you're capturing folklore demons from mythological demons or angels or whatever, and you're collecting all these personas or these shadows that turn into personas, and that's a whole psychological dump of information to give to and it's just an amazing game where you could just do so much and invest so much time into that I've done 120 plus hours of. And I'm still on my second playthrough to right now. And I've been playing this game on and off for the past 5 years. So it's when we talk about replay value, I'm gonna bring that motherfucker back up.
Value.
The game impacted me. I'm gonna say it impacted me at the time that I was when I was playing it because of just how not believable, but just how fun you can make a high school or just the people around you can make like how interesting and interactive you could be with people that are just even though they might be NPCs or a main party in your story, it's still these characters still hold so much weight to you personally. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I'm just stop right there. Golden, Persona 4 Golden. I played on the PS Vita. That's the only platform you can get it on. But yeah, Persona 4 Golden. I suggest that you guys should play it. Second game is DMC, Devil May Cry 3.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I have had a love-hate relationship with Devil May Cry 3 since I was 18 years old. I was 18 when I first played Devil May Cry 3 on my cheap-ass PlayStation that I got for sale when it was like 2007, 2008. So I was able to grab that quick. And the reason why I bring up Devil May Cry 3, not only is Dante the epitome of what he's supposed to be seen as that cool, smooth guy, but in all reality, if you play this game to this day and pay attention to Dante, he's such a fucking cornball. Like he fucking kills demons, says cheesy one-liners, and eats pizza. Like he's a fucking Ninja Turtle for real. Let's be real. He's Michelangelo. Like, but the reason why I bring up Devil May Cry because it was one of the first games that I put so much time into trying to make stylish combos. Because if you don't know you don't know much about Devil May Cry, it centers around combat, gameplay. It's a hack. It will be considered a hack and slash game type of game. So it's all about maneuvering around certain enemies, which are demons, and killing them so stylishly that you have a stylish rank on the, I think, the top left corner of your screen, and you have to always best your last rank, or you always got to build up your rank to the triple S stylish, which is, I think, back then in 3 it was stylish, sexy something. I forgot what it was. Forgive me.
Crazy, sexy, cool.
Yeah, no, not crazy, sexy, cool. All right,
Yeah, no.
really about to agree.
He almost agreed to it.
Cool, just listening. I don't even listen. I just yeah, that one, yeah. Let me hurry up and just keep talking about what I want to talk about.
Stylish.
But my bad. No, this game is not catered towards the ones that are looking for a lore, for a great story, because I am one of the ones that believe that Devil May Cry doesn't hold, or at least Devil May Cry 3 doesn't hold that much story development, not even much character development. You see little moments in Dante where he's not always the cheesy one-liner, like he actually cares to a degree. And, you know, you meet Virgil for the first time. So, you know, a lot of people became more Devil May Cry fans because of his twin brother, Virgil.
Question.
Spoilers. Huh?
You played Devil May Cry 1?
Yeah, I played 1. I never played 2. I don't want to play 2, but I eventually will play 2. I played 1, 3, 4, and 5.
Little backstory to that. You meet Virgil in 1.
Virgil's in 1. You're right. Correct.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying 3 is my favorite.
2 had its issue, which led 3 to be not lore heavy. 2 was, I believe, was lore heavy to the point that people didn't like it. So then they kind of corrected.
2 was broken as fuck. 2 was broken. You could literally shoot enemies into the air, and that's the stun gauge right there.
I finished 2. Don't remember too much about it, but I remember 3 was a kind of correct.
All you doing is shooting at them in the air and they start dying, bro. I seen clips. I'm like, I'm not invested in trying to beat this game. I'm like, I'm not gonna try. I got the collection for PS3, and I have not touched 2 once. I beat 1 already, and I beat 3 like 2 different times already.
But I was saying though, 3 was the kind of correct to 2, because 2 had I think he even had Dante kind of me. I don't remember Dante being as Dante. He was kind of moody in 2, and I was like,
yeah, and he had a fucking coin to make his decisions. What the fuck are you, Two-Face? RV Dent? Shut the fuck up. Anyways, but yeah, 3 held a lot of weight to me. I know a lot of people hated the remake DMC that was done by Ninja Theory. Mm-hmm. I see good story development there in 3. I mean in DMC, but that's a discussion for another time.
Side little thing, I will always say DMC is a good game if it wasn't Devil May Cry.
We we could go back and forth, especially when Nas on this bitch. We could definitely go back and forth with that shit. But I digress. I apologize. DMC 3, great game. I suggest if no one's played it, if none of y'all play it, please do. It's a great game. You can play it on the PS4 now. They have the collection on the PS4, so, and the Xbox One for the ones that own the Xbox. So what? Pass. Xbox is not that bad, bro. Even though I haven't played it for almost 2 years.
I know. I don't have one. I just owned one.
So my number one game that I think highly of, and was one of the games that I remember fondly because I beat at least 2 or 3, about 3 or 4 times throughout my childhood, and even to this day. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. That right there is trash.
I'm joking.
I remember it because it was trash.
Bro, let me tell you. This game, it revolutionized for me at the point in time where I played it. I was 14, I think, when I played it and beat it. So it held a lot of weight to the Zeldas, because I never really was into Zelda. I never played any of the old Zeldas from front to back. That's
the Nintendo 64 one, right?
Yeah, that's the one for the 64.
Okay.
That's the one for the 64 with the
mask?
No, that's Majora's Mask.
My bad. Gotcha.
And I never said I'm a huge Zelda fan, but I never played Majora's Mask. So y'all can shit on me all you want.
I've played neither of those games.
What?
Me neither.
I did not like the 64.
I didn't remember it, but sorry, Max, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. The 64 Zelda Ocarina of Time was important to me because it was one of the first games that I remember beating so thoroughly and enjoying and wanting to go back immediately as soon as I beat it. Where I mentioned before, where I don't beat games unless it's on the weekend for some weird thing. I have it like programmed in my brain to do it like that because of Zelda. Like Zelda was where I beat it. I beat it on the weekend. I was like, yo, this is so refreshing. Let me go back in. I got nothing happening tomorrow. I want to play this game again and witness it again and keep reliving the Link and Zelda and the Shahikas, all that, the lore, the story, the gameplay, the journey. Like that's an action adventure. I've never thought about what my favorite genre is, but action adventure is probably my favorite type of genre within video games. And
Just got a quick thing to say.
go ahead.
Zelda's not an action adventure.
It's like
It's
an adventure.
RPG.
Let that man dream, Mr. Random. Let that man dream.
No, because
Action
he's saying
adventure RPG is the same thing.
No, there's technical breakdowns to it. There's technical breakdowns to it.
I see what you're saying. I wouldn't consider this a JR, like, even though
It's not a
stand.
It's just I'll go RPG. Like it was an action RPG. It's a.
See, that's a discussion too, though. Is it a RPG because you can name your own character?
No.
Is that
RPG
a factor?
deals with the stats boost. Most games now have RPG elements added to them. That's why it seems like everything has RPG stuff. Makes it seem so broad.
I hear you.
Okay.
I guess in this.
Because like you get the hearts, the items, and all that stuff. Like you're
True,
always
and that is a
doing
boost. That is a boost. You're right. And then the certain tunics you can wear, the Bigoron sword, yeah, the Megaton hammer, yeah. All right, I give you that. Every there's always something to progress. You're always progressing as you go. So yeah, I guess you could say, yeah, you can say it's RPG. So it's an adventure RPG. I'm definitely down for that. I'm staying corrected, but. I think the favorite part, like just a quick, because this is my game, man. I'm sorry, but my favorite part in that game is when not even that's so cheap to say that when you defeat the big baddie, but I think my favorite and challenging and hated, I love and hate was the fucking water temple. That shit, boy. Let me tell you, I had a strategy guide and I still couldn't figure that shit out for a while, man. Yo, that water temple, and when you fight Shadow Link for the first time, bro. All right, but Shadow Link was that dude, and then people always say, yo, depending on the color eyes, the level of difficulty is gonna be. No, that shit was never true. People made that shit that lie for the longest time. But yes, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, #1 favorite game for me, and I think I'm shitting on a lot of other games that I really do enjoy, so I do apologize for those, but. Yeah, Ocarina of Time stood out to me when I thought about this list, man. So, honorable mention. I want to say Spider-Man 2.
Yo, Spider-Man 2. Yo, I thought you was gonna say it in some other time, man.
Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man
2. Are we talking about Super Nintendo or which?
No, that's I got for the GameCube.
Hey, I love that one.
Yo, a Spider-Man game that people slept on was the one where you could be Spider-Man and Venom. That was on PS2.
Separation Anxiety.
Yeah, Separation Anxiety. I remember that one.
Wait, you said PS2?
Yeah, it was for the PS2. There was not a lot of people know there's a Spider-Man game with you're playing as Spider-Man and Venom.
Ultimate Spider-Man?
Huh?
Ultimate Spider-Man?
Yes, Ultimate Spider-Man. There you go. Thank you.
Ultimate Spider-Man. All right.
But yeah, Spider-Man 2 had a great webbing mechanic, and that's why a lot of people were worried about the Spider-Man PS4 being bad because 2 did a great job with the weapon mechanics and the side quests. They did a good job of that too. So yeah, honorable mention.
Better.
Yeah, a lot better. I hope the next game for the PS4 is gonna be out of this fucking world, man. I hope.
Probably is.
Oh, bro.
Miles.
All right, but yeah, I'm good. James.
All right. So, admittedly, my games. A lot of games came from Nintendo 64 because like that was like really starting. Besides like Super Nintendo and everything from there, and Sega Genesis. But I have so many games like in different genres, so it's really hard to go down just 3. Like I have to say my favorite game of all time that I played all the way through and everything like that. Once I finally played before, go ahead and say is God of War. Like I just love God of War.
James, we all knew.
To digress back to like what started me on it. Admittedly, I started with racing games.
Part 1, or are you talking about the whole series in general?
The whole series, like
Damn.
Damn.
We'll let that go.
You talking about
Yeah,
for God of War? You talking about
You gotta choose one. You gotta choose one, James.
You gotta choose one game
Out of all those games,
out of the whole franchise.
I'm making
Out
tough
of the whole
for you. You gotta
franchise?
choose one.
Damn right.
I think what was the one you tore off like Icarus Wings? Was that the second one?
That's the second one.
It is the second
No.
one.
Is it?
I want to say it is the second one. Icarus Rim, the wings.
Yeah, because the third one's when you get Hades blades, right?
The second one is what grasped me the most.
Yeah, the second one was my favorite too.
And
But
then
yeah,
like
anyways.
I played 3 just to play 3, but the second one, like where they did all the cinematic scenes, like I was fully involved then, you know. But to go back, I started out with racing games, admittedly. I'm gonna go ahead and say, you know, as far as fighting games go, just go ahead and put out there since Bruno already missed it. Killer Instinct Gold. I love playing that Glacius. I just love playing Glacius in that game.
Yeah.
Man. Yes, I had to. I gotta say it. I won't say it's my number one. I'm gonna go ahead and mention my honorable mention first. I'm gonna go with the fighting game first. Go ahead and say Killer Instinct. All right. So my 3 games are: have you guys ever played Ridge Racer? Have you guys ever played Ridge Racer?
Yeah, Namco back in the day.
Yo, Ridge Racer, man. Like to this day, like I used to love cars. Like I wanted to be a car designer and everything like that. And like when I played Ridge Racer, it felt so like I felt like I was really into the game. Like I felt like I was a character. And when you go through the stages, depending on your racing style, depending on what type of car you got for the next level. And I love that game because of that. And I will play it over and over and over again and try to be as good as I can, try to see what type of car I can get depending on my racing style in the game and my times and everything like that. So I'm going to go with the whole Ridge Racer franchise because I can't remember a particular one that I played all the time because I was playing multiple different ones. I did. Going to another racing game is Extreme G. Have any of you guys ever played Extreme G before?
That sounds familiar.
That's 64, right?
Yeah, that's 64. So that's when you have those motorcycles or like, I guess you call them motorcycles, and they go super fast. Like they can hit like Mach 2, Mach 3, Mach 4.
I remember it.
Yo, it was because it went so fast and like the detail, like it was so colorful. Like it just, I love racing. Like going fast is my thing. I don't have a bike or motorcycle to this day because I don't want to go too fast. So like I was like, that was my game, man. Like I played it over and over so many times. Like I even remember this motorcycle called the Roach, and the Roach was blisteringly fast, like ridiculously fast.
Like cockroaches. You turn lights on. Got it.
You can't tell me that. We can see it in your face how much this shit is.
Yeah,
Yo, it did, man. It did. Like, I love the game so much. So that was my second one, and man, it was really hard for this next one. But yeah, I got a serious list. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Ridge Racer first, go with Extreme G, and then I'm gonna go with Snowboard Kids. Have you guys ever heard of Snowboard Kids?
64, right?
Yeah, 64 too. Like I really got heavy in gaming 64.
I want to say I remember it. So yeah, I want to say I remember it.
Snowboard Kids was little kids, you know, and basically like you're going on these different obstacle courses on a snow course, and you get like these little different items and everything. It's kind of like Mario Kart, but you're on the snow with little kids, and you get to shoot people with items and all types of stuff, and you're trying to race and win. But it was so fun. Like I love doing it because like on the obstacle courses, like different routes and everything you could take. And I always played it with my sister, like, you know, and me and my sister have like a really strong bond. Like she's only like a year younger than me. And that was a game we could always get on. We could always play. And it was always super fun because like even you race against like 4 people. So we would try to beat up on the other people because like the PC will always be an asshole. It will be an asshole most of the time or knock you out your game and everything like that. So that was my third game, but admittedly, you know, I went through those games quickly. I have a serious list. So, do you guys remember playing Road Rash?
Oh yeah.
You guys remember Road Rash?
Back on the Genesis.
Oh, Road Rash, man.
I've
Road
heard of
Rash
that
is fun. Yo, Road Rash is fun because you just like, you know, riding on a bike, knocking all these people down, like, you know, depending on what bike you got, how fast you could go, like, you know, driving straight. Yo, Road Rash, man.
That was
Electronic Arts, I believe.
You said what?
I think that was Electronic Arts back in the day.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know what that reminds me of? I have to say it, Need for Speed. I will always be a Need for Speed fan. Always, forever, always.
Also, more cars. Yeah, I got you.
More cars, bro.
I didn't get back into Need for Speed.
DC coming in.
I need to get back into it.
Yeah, I got Need for Speed Heat. I gotta open it up, but Yeah, of course I played a whole lot of other games too. Of course the
Yeah.
Final Fantasies and all the other games too. But those games on the Nintendo 64 really got me started.
Yeah, that's a personal preference.
Overall, and from there, like I just ventured out to anything on PlayStation, to even to Xbox. But yeah, those are my games, man. Like
The one racing game I remember playing, me and my brother's more of the racing. He's like you. He's more into the racing and more of the sports portion of video games. But Burnout.
Yes, Burnout was fun too.
The mechanic, the thing that I love, it wasn't just a regular racing game for me. What I love to do is that when you get real close to a car, apparently it'll slow down a little bit, and you'll get points for that. Like depending on how close you get to the car. Like I'm pretty sure that's Burnout.
Yeah, it is Burnout. They own combined Burnout with Need for Speed, I thought, one time too.
I think I got
Criterion worked on Burnout Paradise. No.
Okay, Burnout Paradise. That's what it was.
But that was what I liked about that game. Like I said, my brother, he got into the sports and the racing, and he'll bring over Need for Speed. I think the Covert Op one, where like you're pretending to be like you're really a police officer and you're playing as a street racer or some shit like that.
Most Wanted? Need for Speed Most Wanted?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was that one. Yeah.
Most Wanted was the best Need for Speed game that ever came out, hands down. Most Wanted.
Yeah, he had it for the PS3. I think it was.
That's when the EA got really heavy into the stories. Like, y'all ever play Fight Night Champions?
Yeah, my brother got into that one.
God, that's a deep.
Love that one. That's like an RPG-ish type of thing, right?
No, it's
like there's a story. There's a story to it, right?
It's just a story. There's no RPG to it.
The main story.
Well, no, it was just a story about you're a guy working up. It's kind of like the Rocky. It's like watching the Rocky movie, but a little more like darker at points because you're about to make it as like a welterweight champion. And then something goes down and you end up going to jail. Then you got to do a couple of, jail fights, and then they get your brother. So they
try to get in depth about it. That reminds me, this is going completely left, but have y'all ever watched Creed 2?
Yes.
Not
yet. Y'all watched it?
Yes.
I still have not watched that movie.
I gotta watch it.
You gotta watch it, man.
But no, I'm kidding. But yeah.
The first one.
Wait, don't pull the Palmer now. Don't pull the Palmer.
Well, see, Creed gets knocked out in the second. Like.
So fuck that movie, right?
Yep, pretty much, man.
Hey, Mr. Rand, I got a question for you. You was definitely into mechs and stuff like that. So have you ever heard of Forsaken?
Forsaken. Is it a game or an anime?
It's a game. So basically, like you fly around. It's kind of like 3D, and like you collect items. It's like a first person, like floating around, collect items, and you got like 16 levels, and you got different weapons that you shoot at different little mechs and tanks and stuff that's around. You go through the levels and open up different corridors and everything like that. Check it out. It kind of moved around like Doom used to move around back in the day because it was like one of those games. But like you were flying around and you was fighting tanks and you was always fighting like robots and stuff like that. It's different. It's something to check out. I mean, of course, it's really old now, but it was an interesting game. It was an interesting game.
What system was it on?
Oh, I feel like it was for 64. I feel like that was a 64 game too.
I want to say too. I feel like I heard that name. I think I never played it though.
See, that's like one of my big blind spots at 64. It was just I never got past the controller.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you have a blind spot for the N64? Damn it.
I just never got past the because there was I wanted to play Tactics Ogre 64, Ogre Battle 64. There's a lot of games I wanted to play, but 64 is like my big blind spot because just that C stick bothered me. The shape of the controller.
I think that
once you got used to it, like it was completely fine. Like,
bro,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. 64 was a little tough to use a controller, but I think what got me more acquainted with it, and we talked about a little earlier, was GoldenEye. So using GoldenEye, having choice between the middle console and then switching on the pad, but then playing fighting games with the pad also, being able to use the middle joystick. Mm-hmm. It was different, but I think what made it so fun for people was having choice of using the joystick at that point in time.
Yeah,
or the back. Mm-hmm.
That C stick was
so that would taught me how to race a whole lot too.
What, the C stick?
Taught me how to with the joystick.
Yeah, with the joystick, because like then when I switched over to PlayStation, and then like of course I had Gran Turismo, and I played that whole thing through, and I played every single one of them. I just got like used to using the joystick that way, and like honestly, it kind of affected me with fighting games because the way I would use the joystick in order to like race versus like moving the character around, it's a little different. Like it would mess me up sometimes, especially when I was like playing like Tekken or something like that. Because who didn't play Tekken? If you didn't play Tekken, I feel sorry for you, but wow. I knew we wasn't. Wow.
I played Tekken. Oh shit! I didn't even know you had your hands up.
Oh, I'm appalled.
Bro.
I am appalled.
You know what?
Wow. Is that you? They need to chill? Got it.
Oh, I get surprised when people said at one point people were saying that they never played Smash Brothers. I'm like, how do you not play Smash Brothers?
It's easy to not play it though. Like
it is easy to play. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't play it a lot. I didn't play it a lot though.
I've only played 2 Smash games.
Especially on the GameCube. I never bought a GameCube, so
I didn't buy GameCube either.
PlayStation. Actually, stop lying.
So
all my sisters haven't played.
I did the GameCube Smash, and then what was the next one? The Wii. I never played the Wii one. Brawl.
Yeah, Wii was Brawl.
And then I only played.
Everybody else always owned the game, so I played it with everybody else. So like I would go and everybody's like, "Hey, let's play the game." I'm like, "Okay, I don't ever need to buy this game." That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't buy Smash unless I was like one of those open door policies. People always over.
Yeah.
Did you win when you played Smash, or did they let you win?
What? I used to win sometimes, depending on who was playing. Like like beginner's luck. That's a thing. That's a thing, man.
Like how you said it. So like beginner's luck. That's the thing because I got it all the time.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so what got me though? This is a controversial opinion in the Smash community. I don't like playing Omega. Like I don't like it. I feel like all those Smash level designs and people would just always play that one Final Destination Omega layout. It's boring.
I think I did. I think I ever did. Oh, there go Max again, huh?
Yeah, he's like, nah, I said, blast me on Smash, I'm leaving.
Right, he'll come back in and say my internet was disconnected.
Like, right. You know what a good game? Well, a game that gets slept on? The new Gran Turismo.
I didn't buy that yet because the game started getting so long. Like, you have to be. They do endurance races, like real, like the Le Mans, and I'm like, I'm over it. Like, so I would try to get my driver to be like me, but I'm really aggressive. So my car wouldn't make it through the end of the race because of how aggressive I drove. And I was like, I give up on the endurance races. That's what ended up happening for me, man.
So you just couldn't slow down?
Well, you have to drive so many laps. You can't do it. Like,
but those are like actual qualifying tournament, for tournaments now. Like,
I had the car. I had the steering wheel and everything. Like, I was into it, man.
But so you never played the newer one?
What's the new? I never played the new one.
Yeah, the newest one on the PlayStation 4. It's a lot of people slept on because they were like, it started off with a little bit of cars, but not even a little bit. It started off with a lower number than I guess people are used to. But now it's to the point where like I don't know, like they can like add cars and tracks every month.
Really?
So it's just
crazy. Man, if that was something I would have stayed with, I feel like if that was something like I would have stayed with Gran Turismo all the way through, like how they have like people that compete to be like racers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Well, if I would have known about that was going to happen when I was younger, I would have stuck with it because I was so good at that game, man. Like, like I said, I'm highly esteemed when it comes to racing games. I love multiple genres. I played NBA Jam when everybody like would get NBA Jam when they got on fire, right? Remember NBA Street? You play those games?
That was a good one right there too.
That's actually good. NBA Jams.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton was in
it. You would never miss that shit, though. After this end, no matter you be like, hey, you make whole court.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
You on fire, yo. Yeah.
You chuck that bad boy up there. I think as far as the basketball games though, I was what was the one with the street basketball player with the afro? I can't think of the name of it now.
NBA Streets Volume. Was it NBA Streets?
Yo,
What they
NBA
make
Street.
Yeah.
NBA Street, man. I love that game, yo. Because you can make your own character at some point, right? Can you make your own character? Okay.
Yep. So all the tricks I used to do, I used to be like, boy, I'm good. And then I tried to do so many moves on a basketball court and it didn't work out. So yeah, every now and then.
I remember the first one was like, they just had like big players on the random players. And next thing you know, they started incorporating a whole lot of NBA players and stuff like that, I thought. Right?
See, that made me always want to try.
I think something like hidden characters or something.
Was it in NBA Streets? There was a whole bunch of those games that just kind of disappeared, like the NBA Play series. Like EA Play was that branch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was it?
You
I
bet.
just remember saying EA Sports.
Yeah,
Welcome back, sir.
they're working on the transform out here. That's why shit keeps
Okay.
flipping out. God damn it.
Happens.
In the sport. Wait, what was it? Madden. EA Sports is in the game.
EA Sports is in the game, man.
Oh man.
Yo, my dad ran me out of those games, man. Like I would play all the time, and he would just get on and just all of a sudden start whooping my ass. And I'm like, yo, I really thought I was great. How are you this good at these sport games? It would just be the sport games. I understand. Like even with Tekken, he would show up. Like I would know all the combinations, and he would show up with Lei and just kill me. I'm like, yo, what? How could you do this? Like, are you playing this game while I'm asleep or something?
James,
I have no idea how you do it.
So what you're saying, James, is that your dad is a nerd too.
Bruno, nope. Huh?
I mean, you're playing games. That's all I'm saying. He would show up and let you know, this is me, son. This is all me.
What you should have done, you should have took his ass to Blitz, the NBA Blitz, and then really started playing that.
Oh.
That's where you get your revenge.
I remember NFL Blitz too, dog. That was hilarious, man. Drop kicking, body slamming.
Bro, I'm already down. I don't give a fuck. You're gonna take this.
Man, there's so many good classics.
It
NBA
is. Like
Street.
I was going on searching online trying to find all the names. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm missing some game that was like above and beyond for me, but I don't know what it is, man. Like, don't know what it is. So
Put in consideration, I used to like rent a lot of games too, though. So a lot of
Me
games
too.
they're just
Me
in and
too.
out. So a lot of my games I didn't even think about, to be honest with you. But
Shout out to Blockbuster.
For the younger generation, Blockbuster is what we do with Netflix, but you had to go outside of your home to do it.
Yeah.
What? So Super Nintendo games on a Friday night?
Yo,
Weekend?
Bro,
Yo,
yeah.
all the
Shit.
time.
look, when I go to the club, I just play my Blockbuster card. They're like, let him in. Let him in.
Go dig that out. See if it's still laminated.
Oh shit, we can go on for hours, man. We can go on for hours.
Yes.
Blockbuster card.
All right, so is there any more honorable mentions that you guys have?
I feel like there's a lot.
I mean, like I said, I think for me, and I would mention would have to be GoldenEye. Just off the strength of GoldenEye, for me, it gave me my killer instincts, as in sniping.
Yeah.
I used to come around with everybody with that judo chop, and it was a rap, dog.
Short midget motherfucker.
Off the muscle of just judo chopping everybody, dog. Straight.
Bro, that what was the short motherfucker called?
God dang it, Odd Job. I think it's Odd Job.
Odd
That
job.
bitch scurrying around like a damn gremlin. Hated that motherfucker, man.
No, and I knew all the secret hiding spots too.
The one in the bathroom.
The bathroom. You went in the bathroom. You went into the duct. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the vent. I remember that shit.
Yep.
You
That
can
game
go
was
into wow.
Bro, that's way back. I was 14. I think I was 14 when I first played. 13 or 14 when I first played that game.
Mm-hmm. Nah.
I never bought the game. Like I always played at somebody else's house or something like that. I never bought it.
Me too. Used to just leave my house, jump up on my boys' balcony, open the screen door, we'd be playing games, man. Breaking enemies in motherfuckers' homes just to play some GoldenEye.
That's the whole picture.
Yo, we were different when we were younger.
Max, do you want to tell us something? Is that something we should know?
That's another time for the channel. Man. We can talk about our past on this bitch, but don't worry.
You on that one, right? Yeah. Oh, rocks at the window.
You came with the old school grappling hook, pulling himself up.
Had to do the Batman on him, man. Adam West, baby. Rest in peace. All right. All right, y'all. I think that's another one right there. I think we expounded on some games on our childhood or just nostalgia, and that's really what all these games are about, nostalgia. Like what we get into, the things we enjoy, and that's another discussion I would love to bring into this channel would be the nostalgia. What makes this games back then are still good, or they hold that weight, or this nostalgia push for those games to be just as great. So, that's something I can put down for a topic down for later. We could kind of expound on this.
Definitely do that.
But yeah, that's it. This is Media Marauders. We came back with some more beautiful content. I knew you guys were waiting for us. You want to see these gorgeous, handsome men. It's mainly me. But that's where my branch off this chat. I mean, this channel will be just me being and just chilling, watching TV and scratching my balls. But no, all jokes aside, once again, this is Max. We got your boy King, Mr. Thomas,
Signing off.
James.
Peace out.
And for the other two that couldn't make it, Nigel and Palmer, we like we said, they couldn't make it. We apologize. But oh yes, before I forget, please click subscribe, channel, all that. Please click and subscribe. Please click
like, subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Yeah, click like and subscribe. And please do not forget that bell that notifies you of all the content that we are still pushing and we're still solidifying ourselves to be pushing. So thank you once again, everybody. Have a good night and be safe out there. Start trimming your beards. Y'all looking like heathens.
Gotta get my grizzly on, man. Well, I guess I'm already there. Trying to look at He-Man's the Master of the Universe. It's cool though.